Hi everyone. Have you wondered why a lot of students run away from questions that involve calculations, especially when it comes to social studies? People ask the question, why this is social studies, and then why should we have questions on calculation? Of course, there are some of the aspects or some of the topics that when you go deeply into them, you have to do a few calculations when it comes to coming up with answers as far as those topics are concerned. Even teachers at times or the instructors skip these areas. And I've been wondering what I can do to help my colleagues out there and then also students who are having challenges with these areas. When you take the topics that GS has listed or outlined for the basic school, when you pick the social studies syllabus itself, the set of topics, the 27 topics, it's just few of them that involve these calculations or have topics that involve these calculations. So we'll talk about the second year topic on mapping our environment. So there is something on the calculation or conversion of skills. A lot of students don't like it. When we talk about bearing, where we have to look at cardinal points and then look at someone moving from one location to another location, a fixed point to a new destination. What is the bearing at which the person moved? That is also another area that students kind of run away from. Then we can also talk about uh, third year, significance of some natural features of the earth. You realize that there is something on calculation of local time. So to determine the local time of a place, you actually need to calculate, especially when you are being given longitudes and then the local time of another place. You have to use what you've been given to get or come out with the answer. That is one thing that has troubled students over the years. I'll focus on the calculation of skills, the conversion of skills, and then when you are given a skill and you are given actual distance or ground distance and then or map distance, and you have to find the actual distance of another measurement, okay, then you will definitely be given a skill. You can use one of them to solve or come out with the answer. We will go into that. So I'll take you to the board and then I'll show you simple method. You just have to, don't stress yourself writing a lot of things. It's just a simple strategy you need to adopt and go about it and come out with your answer. When it comes in the section A, that is the objective, you can get your answer, shade, and then move on. When it is section B, there is a procedure to follow. Very simple. Just write what is given, and then you come out with the answer. So I'll give you a simple example, what we've had in our past questions, and then so on and so forth. So let's get into that quickly. We are not wasting much time at all. All right. So one of my viewers wanted me to talk about this calculation that has to do with scale. Okay. The type of question that he sent me had to do with where a scale is given in the question, then they give a figure, one of the measurements, okay, either the actual distance or the map distance. The actual distance, if you watched my video on mapping our environment, I said it's also known as the ground distance because the ground distance is the real distance. And this cannot be gotten on a paper. You can't measure kilometers on a paper because this distance is lengthy. You get it. So that unit is a huge one, of course. Meters, kilometers, miles. Here in the question, they've given kilometers as the actual distance. So we are going to use kilometers. So I want you to follow me closely. I'll read a question out. When you are given a question like this, ask yourself, what has been given? What has been given in the question? Then you go and write the items or the numbers that have been given to you in the question that will guide you to come out with your answer. So I have a question here. It says, if the distance between town A and town B Of course, they can use alphabets or they can even use real names of places. If the distance between town A and town B on a map is 12.5 centimeters, calculate the actual distance on the ground using a scale of 1 centimeter to 4 kilometers. That's very simple. But because they involve numbers and then there is going to be some form of operational science, students get scared when they read. Don't be scared when you read a question like this. Write down what has been given. So 2 towns have been mentioned here, town A and town B. Now, these towns actually have been put on paper. They've given you a scale. And then what is given here is also the distance between the town A and town B. The moment you see centimeter as a unit for that measurement that has been given between town A and town B, then you know centimeter can be drawn on paper. Therefore, the map distance has been given. And the question went ahead to even state that calculate the actual distance. So we are now finding the distance on the ground, the distance on the actual ground, using a certain given scale, a certain given scale. So that certain given scale is what we are going to use to find the actual distance with the map distance that has been given in the question. So I have here town A and town B. The distance has been given. So they said on the map, that means paper or the map distance. That is 12.5 centimeters. So you have this is equal to actual distance. The actual distance is not known. So you don't have a problem at all. You can replace it with any variable, any letter. Because all the time, a scale is showing what? The relationship between the map distance or the distance on the map and the distance on the ground. And you always find the map distance on this side and then the ground distance on this side. So if we are looking for the ground distance and it is not known, I am replacing it with what? My x, a variable that I can use to do my calculation. What else has been given in the question? They've given us a scale to use. 1 centimeter is equal to 4 kilometers. So you see this one too. The scale given in the question has the map distance on this side and the actual distance on this side. But the map distance has been given for the second scale, which is showing the location, sorry, the distance between the town A and town B, but the actual distance is not known. And that is what we are finding. That is what we are looking for. I'm bringing equal to sign here to replace the word to because they wrote 1 centimeter to 4 kilometers. The 2 in the middle here is showing that that is a statement scale. It doesn't change anything. What it means is that the scale given is telling us that every 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 4 kilometers on the actual ground because the scale reduces the distance so we can draw it on paper or have the picture on paper. The real picture on the ground, we can have it on paper. The same thing is happening here for the 12.5 centimeters. So now that we have 12.5 centimeters as a distance between town A and town B, what then will it represent on the actual ground? And that is what we are finding. So you rewrite the scale given. You can write that first before writing this and put your variable there. Or you can still write this and then write the scale given. Then what do? Since you have the equal to sign, You replace it with the 2 over there. It doesn't change anything. You use the simple mathematics method, cross multiplication. You cross multiply, where the x times the 1 will give you 1x, and you know it is x. So you have your x, because definitely if x becomes the subject and the x was used to replace or represent the actual distance that we have been asked to find in the question, it means that whatever we get for x will be our actual distance or ground distance. Therefore, if this multiplies this and gives us x, then you have a 12.5 times 4. And that should give us x equal 50. But don't forget the units. Because we are looking for actual distance, the actual distance is in kilometers. So you just put kilometers there, which is 50 kilometers. This question came in the 2021 BC, the question number 1B. All right. That is, no, question number 1A, and then sub question II. All right. Let's look at this. So we have our answer to be 50 kilometers. So if we want to rewrite this scale, it will now become 12.5 centimeters to 50 kilometers. This is the scale they use for the 2 distance on the map. So that is it. So this is interpreted as what? Every 12.5 centimeters on the map is equivalent or is equal to 50 kilometers on the actual ground. This is our answer. So we found it. So you get a mark for this. If it comes in the section A, as I already stated in the intro, you just look for the 50 kilometers and then shade your answer. I think this is also very, very clear. So don't panic when they change the figures. Use the same procedure. In the case where the map distance isn't given, but the actual distance is given, the same method. Do your cross multiplication and make the x the subject. Simple mathematics, change of subject. So let's say instead of they giving us the map distance, they've rather given us the actual distance as 50 kilometers. And we've been asked to find the map distance, which is not known. So I replace it with a variable. This time around, let me use a y. You can use any variable of your choice. We are still maintaining the scale given by the question. 1 centimeter to 4 kilometers, which is very simple. And it's the same as what? 1 centimeter is equal to 4 kilometers. I'm talking about this. That's what it means. So if I write my y, that's I put all or group all the map distance at one side, and then the actual distance, 50 kilometers. You still do your cross multiplication, which gives me 4y is equal to 50 times this. You have your 50 over there. What do? Divide. We are making y the subject because that is what we are looking at or we are looking for. You divide both sides by 4, divide both sides by 4, and that y should give you the 12.5. And because it is map distance, you get your 12.5. What was given to us, and then we found that. So now here we are, back to the 12.5 centimeters. Very simple. Very, very simple. So you are using just simple addition, division, multiplication, operational science. Very simple. I believe this calculation has made things clearer to you. And teachers out there will follow the same procedure and method to explain to students that anytime they meet questions like this on social studies, which involve calculation skill, they shouldn't run away. They should go for these questions, use the methods, and get all the marks allocated for those questions. This is not difficult at all. Here is GSL tutorials, and I'll be coming your way with other interesting lessons. Subscribe, share my video, like them if you enjoy the lesson, and I'll meet you again with more. Thank you for watching. Bye.